Welcome to Creatively Exposed, a podcast and safe space for Black and marginalized creatives to empower, educate, and uplift you through the final product of self and creation. Bring a homie, share with a homie, and enjoy the show. Shout out to Mercury retrograde. I had a whole 5-minute conversation, y'all, and of course, I am back to re-recording. So this is on my blanket. You might hear some movements. I apologize ahead of time. And what is the color of today? The color of today is like a neon green situation. Let me darken the lights. Yes. So, I hadn't said that in a minute. So we're restarting. Welcome back to Creatively Exposed. This is a podcast for the creative in all levels, right? But especially through the rough drafts and some of the hardships of being a creative entrepreneur. But I am here to rehumanize the creative. And so, just a little bit of a summary, I guess, because I don't know if you'll be able to hear everything. Overall, I have been in a season of undoing, unfurling, blooming, rehashing everything that I know, to be quite honest, when it comes to value, abundance, and just like creative entrepreneurship, and slowly being able to call myself that. I have kind of been getting little things from like family members where it's like, so how's work? And I'm like, well, I'm educating in a school. I have the workshop, so the science fiction and fantasy workshop, which has been really amazing. I feel like it's one of the most enjoyable experiences I've had, putting a workshop together, and just mutually learning. I always enjoy those, but this is my first multi-week, and so it is so lit. I have enjoyed it so much. And I also sell crystals, and I have been doing pop-ups, and I got a whole bunch of stuff, a lot of work in progresses across the board. And so let me drink my water because my voice is a little hoarse, and I'm gonna tell you about that in a second. So what I make and deem as work employment, it's not like a job that every 2 weeks you get paid a certain amount. And so it's not quote unquote as stable. There are moments that it's crickets, and there are moments it's like, oh, we flowing. And to the older folks, it's like, so you're not gonna get a job. And I'm just like, I'm not sitting at home doing nothing, y'all. I'm putting in the work, and it's just that the results they come in their own time, but usually right on time. So but there's also some additional things I gotta do. But I feel like I work almost harder now, but not in the same way. And so I'm always thinking, am I doing this right? Do I need to pivot? Do I need to just focus on one thing? I'm not really great at focusing on one thing, so I'm not gonna lie to myself. And so for those who are interested in multiple things at once, I see you. And it takes a lot of moving forward in the right direction that feels good to you, it's not easy. It's not something that for me feels natural. And it's been a few months. And there are moments that I am scared. And there are moments that I'm like, all right, we doing okay? And there are moments that I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And there are moments that I'm like, I am so grateful to be here. And but what I say to myself, and maybe somebody will feel this, is that you cannot create in a place of fear. You cannot make decisions based on the lack of faith that we have sometimes in ourselves to be able to make shit happen. There are circumstances and things, and I don't think any decision that you make is a loss unless you lost a little bit of your soul doing it. And even then, sometimes we just gotta make shit temporary. But I also think that we have to celebrate, especially as creatives, because a lot of people don't think creative work is work. And motherfucker, I'm creating something from the downloads of the universe, right? Like, it's coming from the air. It's coming from me existing and having the frequency of creativity. If that is not fucking work, I don't know what is. You know, the mindlessness and skill that you have acquired over time, cool. I'm not saying you're not doing work. However, for those who have chosen to go a different route, or who dream of it, think about it, wake up, and that is always in their spirit and on their mind. Ain't nobody told nobody who go to work every day, oh, why don't you get something for real, right? And so let us not diminish the value of what gets people through those work days. Things that have gotten me through my work day: podcasts, books, music, just to name 3. Where do you think that comes from? That comes from the people, and I know I'm preaching to, creatives already, but like, it comes from people who decide, this is what I need to create, and I have to find a way to make it happen. Sometimes it's, Big Pub helps you out, right? Sometimes you're on a network doing podcasts. Sometimes, you're getting ads and affiliations. And sometimes there's people like me who, by the grace of God, network, and community, in audacity, because I create because I want to, and I test things out and I see, right, I'm on all the things, but it's because it's within me to do these things. There's a way of living that I cannot be the what if person. And so there are moments that I am like, what am I doing with my life? I should go get me a regular ass job and do what I've been doing for the last almost 10 years. But I didn't. What's interesting to me, and maybe, I keep repeating myself, but maybe somebody need to keep hearing it. I did everything that I was supposed to do. I went to school, I got my degrees, I got 2, got a job, kept going, and then, boom, second layoff. And I'm like, you know what? Not only fuck this, because of the way that they went about it, but also fuck this because in my spirit I know that I need to bet on myself, at least for a while longer. And I will have to make the adjustments if I want to move around in this space. But it also doesn't mean I ain't doing nothing, that I ain't finding a way. Oh, and that's with, unemployment running out hella fast, like 3 months or some shit. And so if you're looking for an educator or a poet or somebody for a panel, I am your girl. I like to talk things. Why not? Why not self-plug? But also I'd also love for the community to let me know what they got going on. For those folks who are putting in work doing the things that they do. I also do pop-ups. And I'd like to start doing workshops for crystals and maybe even I also want to do a tarot workshop, and I'll be teaching astrology in May, so that is a collaboration that I'm doing, and I'll be teaching my first cohort May 5th. So if you are interested in intuitive astrology, we break down the planets, the houses, the transits, also the aspects. That's what I was looking for in the aspects. I'm also learning degrees on my own and things like that, but just so you can get a good understanding of how to read your own chart and have understanding of reading other people's chart. And I like to call it the translating poetry of the stars. And so if you are interested in that, I will do my best to remember to put it all in the show notes, because signups are already ready to go. So May 5th. And so we out here. And do not diminish the value that it is in creating things that come from we don't know where, right? I think of them as downloads from the universe. I think of them as just I don't know if it's molecules, ions, what atoms, the quantum physics of the mind that allow us to create and write what sometimes many people need to hear or experience or watch or dance to or just view somewhere, whatever your art medium. And so it's not always easy to follow a road that people don't value enough, even if they're the ones consuming art. It don't gotta look like nobody's anything for you to find peace and satisfaction within it. And so I think of this as part of my own generational I don't even call it healing. It is, but it's a little bit more. I don't have the word for it yet, but maybe generational evolution. In another episode I had read, I think it was, I don't know where it was from, either Alice Sparkly Cat, I think is the Instagram, but the ancestors already did the work. So how do we move in that knowing? How do we move in that space? How do we not let the years of fear-based existing to keep us going in a loop that we don't even want to be on? Or even if it's not, let's say, working that, not leaving your job. I am not Beyonce. As much as I love her, don't quit your job if you ain't ready. But how do you start to divest your value from being somebody else's asset, right? Somebody else's means to making someone else money, meeting their goals, meeting their quotas. Like, how do you add more to the value of yourself by taking moments where you're just existing, where you're just creating, where you're being, and add a little more humanity to yourself, because it is ugly out here. Hella people have been laid off. Some will be just fine, right? And some are like, what's next? And so, but you are no less you because you are not, head of whatever, manager of whatever, associate, whatever, whatever your title is. Like, you are more than your title. And so, I taught a generational healing course, and one of my questions was, who are you without your titles, without what you produce? And so maybe sit with that question. And why is my voice a little bit hoarse today? I actually just got back from Masego's concert, which was such a vibe. I haven't been out on my own for a while. I usually be inside like a hermit because I be working. And also, not trying to do too much spending, but hey, sometimes you gotta go live. There are days that, poems do not come, stories don't have words. I have been sitting with this idea, this artifact for a collection that I have that's gonna be more than a collection, but I haven't gotten a lot of poems for it besides the ones that I already have. And it's because I gotta go live, I gotta go experience, I gotta just be in the world so it can talk to me. What I said in the science fiction and fantasy workshop is that sometimes we get writer's block because the world has something to say to us, or has more to say to us than we do on the page. And so we gotta go live, and we gotta read, and we gotta enjoy a whole bunch of stuff, and then it's when it all comes in. And so just being around people who enjoy Masego, Black people, that was a little bit of everything, but just being surrounded by a lot of Black folks and beautiful people everywhere. And Masego, I don't know how old that man is, but what a fucking vibe, playing his damn saxophone and singing. What a joy. So yes, I was singing at the top of my lungs and yelling at people because they could sing. And I regret nothing. I regret absolutely nothing. So allow yourself to be poured into by other people's art. I'm also doing NaPoWriMo or NaPoWriMo, which is National Poetry Month, and so NaPoWriMo is National Poetry Writing Month or something like that, where we're doing 30 for 30, so a poem a day. And I happen to be using the calendar created by @TaylorBiasPoet, I think it is, but I like to call that person Dr. Taylor, and Sophia Faye. They put together a form calendar, and so I have been stretching my poetry and my brain, getting brain exercises, putting formats together learning what they are first. And some are great, some I don't love as much, but I think the practice of putting things into form is useful for extending and empowering myself to move a little different within words. And so for some reason, I really love a sestina. Like, I love me a sestina. It's hard as hell. Okay? From the first stanza, you take the last words, and then the last words are arranged differently for the next 6 stanzas, and then there's like a 3 stanza one at the end. It's chemistry. It's chemistry in words. But sometimes it is dope. Oh, you know what I haven't done? It's National Poetry Month. Let's see what I got in my at SIQ book is what it's called. Let's see. Of course, people be liking my sexy poems. Y'all know I am. All right, so I'm gonna read you one. This is a prose poem, and I've been also experimenting with using bits and pieces of poems that I start and don't finish to work on these poems. So this has been really neat. These Damn Love Poems. That is the title. The day I fall in love. Oops. Yeah. Starting over. The day I fall in love, the world will continue to move on its orbit, and yet everything would be tinted a transparency setting of 25% in rose. I keep restarting this poem, reimagining, reconfiguring, resetting, rewriting all the beautiful possibilities. Yet, the clocks continue striking 12, and new days come and go, my dreams filled with beauties with skin richer than any earth. Fantasy lands of held hands and full bellies, where touch-starved skin is but a myth, a forgotten bruise healed, an intrusive thought. How many of us whisper about the moaning halls of loneliness, a tangibly unfriendly ghost, when self-love and choosing better leads to their inhibition. There are blue-hued nights, and Amy Winehouse accompanies me on the kitchen floor, crooning to the losing games I have played in all the ways I too have gone back to black. I tell Soledad, and you shouldn't be stronger. Shouldn't you be stronger than me? I continue braiding myself back into hope and wish upon a moon-filled manifestation. Softly the wind will hold a particular joy. That was my first time reading it. And so if you're looking for poems, I'm actually posting them on my Bookstagram, and I think eventually I'll upload all of the pictures on lizflow.com just so that there's a central place for the 30 for 30 this year. And so, friends, overall, today's sentiment is do not underestimate the journey. My therapist made me do I have this scratch paper, and one of the things that we've done is do a line representing your journey so far. And she asked me a series of questions of, have you experienced joy? Have you experienced confidence? Have you experienced kindness? And all of these things keep us going. And so I have it somewhere where I can see it. and remember all the ways that although there are lows, there are lows, but in those lows there are pockets of beautiful things that I am so grateful for. And on an astrology tip for the homies, the retrograde shadow has now begun. This thing gonna start, I believe it's this week, the 21st. There's also the eclipse on the 20th of this coming week. I don't know what day it is today, y'all. Tax season. If you owe money, it's time to pay on the 18th. But anyway, astrologically, eclipse season is here. I will be doing tarot readings on YouTube around these eclipse because we are at the beginning, and then the culmination, I believe, is in May, so the end of it is in May. And these are usually powerful times for transformation. It's not, a lot of people don't say to manifest, but I think a lot of the transits and things are kind of saying, hey girl, if you feel it, do it. And what is that? Is it a full moon? We have a moon this week. Let me look at my calendar. I don't want to lie to y'all. We have a moon this week that says, it's a new moon. And so new moons are for manifestation, y'all. And this year just feels a little bit different for me. I'm trying to figure out what last one was in Libra, but I'm trying to figure out what sign it's gonna be. I don't know. It's an Aries, like I knew it was. Okay. So new moon in Aries definitely gives the vibes of this kind of new year energy that we feel while in Aries season. And so it's about damn time to begin the best days of your lives by having the audacity, my favorite word, the audacity to live it, the audacity to go for it, to faith it through and figure out the shit along the way. And if you can't sustain it and you gave it your best and you gotta pivot, do that. Do it. And so happy eclipse season. Be ready for having your whole life changed, and by the end of the year you will probably be a completely different person. I know I'll be. Who I was in October is not who I am now. Everything about me has transformed and changed, and I'm continuing. And so if you are on that journey, know that I am right there with you. Things is not always sweet, but sometimes there is sweetness to be experienced, and you hold on to those moments. And eventually I want to give my my testimony. And but for now I am still evolving through the ideas, still deprogramming this life of automation that I have been on, this life of overstructure. I know what it is to work, to be employed, and I'm figuring out what it looks like to be creating my world around me instead, at my terms. And people won't get it, but that's not for them to get, and that is okay too. They'll get it later. When you already got your shit together, they will get it. And if they don't, again, And so shout out to all of yous going on the hardest path. Shout out to y'all that are like, I'm gonna go this smooth path, but from time to time I'm gonna take this hard left over here. I'm a lefty, so for me, lefties is not a problem. This hard left with no cement. I'm gonna take the dirt path. I don't know if I'm gonna hit a tree, or if I will end up at a beautiful oasis that is actually real. Not a mirage, but an actual oasis. And so, what if you fly, my friends? What if you allow yourself to experience the magic that lives within, versus moving in fear, in worry? What if you give it your best shot and it works out? No te olvides que eres magia. Do not forget that you are magic. Pas oublier où c'est magique. Make those manifestations, and I cannot wait to see what we all become. Have a great few weeks, and I will get at y'all next time. Thank you for listening to the show. Check out our Patreon, the website in the show notes. Rate, review, and subscribe or share with the homie. And don't forget that you are magic. No te olvides que eres magia. Pas oublier où c'est magique. Take care and see you next week. Are you interested in unlimiting your healing journey? If so, please check out astrolizasix.com, also in the show notes. If you want to begin your crystal collection, need a tarot reading for spiritual guidance, or a natal chart reading, the dates open up in next week, July 8th. So if you are interested in any of those things, we got decks, incense, sage, all of the things. Check out astrolizasix.com and reconnect to your inner healing.